Everyone knows Istanbul is a beautiful city, steeped in history, but most tourists visit the mosques, all built in the last 500 years. Even the old Rumelian fortress was only built in 1452, and the Galata Tower was made in 1348. But before it was Turkish, this region was a Greek-speaking capital of the Roman Empire. So there are loads of amazing ancient things to see here too. I'm going to show you history-loving travelers the top 6 ancient Roman sites to visit when you come to Istanbul. Before we begin, let's enjoy a scenic boat ride on the Bosphorus, which separates Europe from Asia.
Cheers! In chasing the Argonauts had to sail up this Bosporus, what they called the clashing rocks, because they allegedly used to smash into each other, smash, like this. And Poseidon, in the film at least, helps him and stops it. Everyone on that side is Asian. Everyone on that side is European. This is how it has always been understood. And if you disagree, you're going against tradition. Cheers.
Out in the Fatih district, you can find this Roman column, erected in honor of Emperor Marcian in the 5th century. It used to have a statue of him on top, and is based on the same tradition as Trajan's column in Rome.
Okay. Pagan goddess on a Christian monument. There, look. Hero. Christian. But they still had a pagan goddess on it. More. Christian.
The most popular and iconic tourist attraction in Istanbul is Hagia Sophia. Although it is a mosque today, it was originally built as a church in 537 AD, under the rule of Emperor Justinian I. It's on the site of an earlier church built in the 4th century, when the empire was still largely pagan. The current structure was completed just 4 years before the Justinian plague hit Constantinople, the former name for Istanbul. Contemporary reports claim 10,000 people died in the city every single day during the plague. Justinian sourced all kinds of different marble from across the empire to create this multicolored psychedelic effect of these marble panels. These 2 panels were cut from the same stone to create this symmetrical effect.
The sense of weight is hard to describe, but it's extremely powerful downward thrust of all that stone up in the air, suspended on these seemingly minuscule pillars at the side. It's a sort of an illusion of the architecture that really creates quite an odd feeling. It doesn't feel entirely safe looking up at it and feeling all that weight above you. Someone, I can't remember who, in the medieval times described it as being like in a canyon. And I can't feel that sort of impression that maybe there's going to be a landslide or something. But yeah, wow, what an architectural marvel. From this angle, perhaps you get a feeling for the sense of space. It's pretty unusual. That's the main dome.
This 10th century mosaic over the south door depicts Justinian on the left offering the building to Mary, while Emperor Constantine offers her the city of Constantinople. Milady. Next on the list is the nearby Basilica Cistern, which was also made in the 6th century by Justinian I. It was made famous by its appearance in the classic James Bond film From Russia with Love. It was originally one of hundreds of such structures used to store water for the citizens of Constantinople.
Oh, 1,500-year-old cisterns. They're in Istanbul, built under Justinian to provide water. And now a tourist attraction, extremely busy, and with not very much water in it. Just enough to reflect the lights.
The 336 marble columns that support the ceiling were mostly reused from older structures across the empire. And they're not the only things down here that were recycled.
At the bottom of some of these cistern pillars, they've got heads of gorgons, Medusa. It may be that they were turned upside down to neutralize their power as pagan symbols, since it was built during the reign of Justinian when everyone was Christian, or most people were anyway, at least the powerful people were. Or it could be that people just completely disregarded the value of these things and didn't care which way up they was, since they're going to be in a cistern anyway, and no one's supposed to be looking at anything down here. You can see the snakes on her hair just beneath the water level there. Seems like a waste of good sculpture to put it all the way down here, unless perhaps it did have some kind of magical function, apotropaic perhaps.
This golden head pillar drum at the museum is of the same type found down in the cistern. There is very little left of the Hippodrome of Constantinople, but it was once a social centre for the city, much like the Colosseum in Rome. It had a circus where popular chariot racing attracted huge crowds. Today it is known as Sultan Ahmet Square, and it still boasts a couple of ancient structures. The Egyptian obelisk of Thutmose III was first erected around 1450 BC in Egypt, but in 390 AD, the Christian Roman Emperor Theodosius I shipped it out to Constantinople and put it in the middle of the Hippodrome. He added this pedestal. The west side of it shows the submission of the barbarians, possibly Thracians, at the bottom, offering things to him, and on this side he is offering the winning charioteer the laurels of victory. This serpent column, made in Delphi in 478 BC, was moved here over 800 years later by Constantine in the 4th century AD. It originally terminated in 3 marvelous snakeheads. The Muslims destroyed one in the 1400s, and the others as recently as the 1600s, but part of one is kept at the Archaeological Museum. Before he was killed by the glorious Goths, Emperor Valens left the city with one of its greatest Roman monuments. This spectacular 4th century aqueduct, which towers over many of the major roads of the city even to this day, reminding the inhabitants of the great civilization that existed here in ancient times. If you love ancient history as much as I do, then you're not going to come to Istanbul without checking out the Archaeology Museum. And of course, it had to be the top of my list.
At the Istanbul Archaeology Museum, it's a lion, Hittite, from 8th century BC. Pretty impressive. Stone predator.
I can't go over every single artifact inside as there's way too much. We'll be here all day. The place is stuffed with history and artifacts taken from everywhere from Troy to Tripoli. You can easily spend a whole day in here.
It's the big guy himself.
He's the king of the gods.
Thanks for watching Survive the Jive. If you like history and travel, then be sure to check out some of my other videos. And furthermore, it is my opinion that the subscribe button should be destroyed, so smash it for Rome.